All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Montecuccoli, which I like to call the Mostaccioli because it's a little bit easier to say than Montecuccoli, you know, whatever. It's the Tier 5 Italian cruiser line, okay? It's considered a light cruiser because it's got 152 millimeter guns. The big thing about her is that she's got the fuel, the exhaust smoke generator. I like to call that deep water smoke because, you know, LOL. Actually, let me get this moved over like that for you guys. There you go. That way you can see everything better. So she's got that smoke. And then Wargaming added submarine surveillance, which at tier 5, I kind of feel like gives them a little bit of a bone to, you know, maybe try to do something against subs. But at the same time, it might encourage players to go and you know, chase after subs and then they get themselves killed. So we'll have to see. M-Note, are you on a regrind here, sir?
Sorry, I was finishing cooking food. Yes, I am.
Worries.
I am regrinding this line for the Research Bureau.
Got it. Now, M-Note loves Italian, just about anything. He loves the Italian destroyers. So something is clearly wrong with his head. But you've decided to go for the cruisers next, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so since you're regrinding through this is the standard captain for you. You don't need, obviously, Luigi for it. Sansonetti. So you've gone with Grease the Gears, Priority Target, Adrenaline Rush, and then finally Concealment. Not a bad build for lower tier action. A couple of things I would consider changing. SAT, of course, you're welcome to weigh in on this too. I kind of feel like Survivability Expert might be a better choice. It's tier 5, so it's not a ton of hit points, but that can mean the difference in a game versus Adrenaline Rush. But otherwise, I guess you could also do Last Stand, because you're in a tiny cruiser and you can lose your engines and rudder pretty easily.
Yeah, those would probably be my next points once I get them.
Okay.
Are you going to move the captain up?
No, I have a captain for each ship of the line.
Okay.
Then yeah, I'd actually take SC first.
Right. And that's right,
Okay.
Wolfie. She doesn't have a heal, so because she doesn't have a heal, Superintendent is less valuable. But I agree with SAT. My instinct is survival first and then damage second. So, like, I would start with this first and then probably go Adrenaline Rush. And then I think that the other thing you have to think about is where do you know, what other skills do you want to take? Because as you know, the 4-point skills take forever to get to. If you're regrinding, you probably won't even get to them.
Yeah.
So, and then no flags, because whatever. Fine.
Yeah, it's low tier.
Now, I would suggest you take a spotting aircraft instead of a fighter.
Oh,
Do you know
I
why?
think that's just. I think that's just because I had rebought the ship and I hadn't switched them.
Yep. Very easy to forget that. So, for those of you guys who don't know, you typically want to bring a spotting aircraft instead of a fighter because, one, it's up in the air longer, action time of 100 seconds versus 60 seconds, so that's 40 seconds more uptime. And when you're smoking yourself, the spotting aircraft allows you to see outside your smoke screen. Very important if you need to maneuver around. The other thing is it extends your main battery range. And the Italian cruisers could definitely use help in the range department, typically. I'm not sure about this specific one. It's 15 kilometers okay. So, hey, Dutch. So let's go ahead and get to the replay then.
So this replay is not boring. And there's one moment where I need to switch into my brown pants. You will know it when it happens.
All right. Let's load up. Did I not render this one? I don't think I rendered this one. No, I did. I just didn't download the video for it. Okay, that's easy enough. Use fighters because they currently both shoot down planes and spot ships. Well, yes, but to me the uptime is far more important because that enables you to shoot farther out and also see things for a longer duration. And the spotting aircraft goes out farther from the ship too.
Right, which makes it better at fighting destroyers.
Correct.
The shoot down planes isn't really that useful because by the time they shoot down the planes, the CV's already made a strike.
Generally speaking, yes. a very good carrier player will avoid the planes going around. A bad one will strike through it and then keep doing it, and then you farm them for XP. So both are good options. I think in co-op, a fighter build is probably better.
I noticed when I was playing that I had the fighter plane, but I didn't think about the fact that I hadn't switched it. I just thought, oh, I guess this ship doesn't have the ability to mount a spotter.
Gotcha. Yeah, so that's okay. It happens. Fighters in co-op never seem to latch. You'd always take a spotter. Oh, okay. Good to know. And
so what is your thought process right now?
To be honest, I think I'm just maneuvering over into this position because I kind of was a bit more on this side, so I thought I'd go over here and try and farm. Usually in lower tier, I'm not putting as much thought into my decision making because it's lower tier.
Okay.
Did you just not see the Nicholas in time?
No, I didn't. And once I did see him, you know, I switched to him, but then he's going to get behind the island.
so that's the first thing I was going to comment on is when you make that first contact, you don't have to turn out and move at full speed. You can turn out and slow down. And if you turn out and slow down, that gives you more time to shoot stuff. It also gives them more time to shoot you, but you have your magic inky button to allow yourself to disengage.
Tier 5 is kind of a weird exception, just because you don't get engine boost yet.
True. Engine boost. These
Sorry,
cruisers
prop
don't.
mod.
Okay.
Yeah,
one
tier
thing
5
we
doesn't
didn't
get prop mobs, so you can't really speed juke as well.
One thing that we didn't cover in the build section was the fact that, yes, this ship doesn't have a heal. And so, you know, Superintendent isn't as useful, but you only get 2 smokes without Superintendent.
I see that. And that's a good point. It's just the problem for this particular ship and maybe some of the mid tier too is just I feel like if you put a lot into the utility, you just don't impact the game.
Another thing, I mean, you're shooting Destroyer, which is nice, but you're not really getting any damage.
Yeah, again, so another thing that makes this ship a bit, well, this Trento and to a lesser extent Zara is, unlike the higher tier, the shell velocity isn't quite as good. So for me, who's more used to the Italian cruisers at high tier, I'm underestimating just how slow these are.
This is a good opportunity for you to smoke yourself, by the way.
The other part is, if you're shooting at a destroyer that's too far and doing 0 damage, what's the point? You can shoot someone else at the meantime. Like, you could be doing chip damage to the battleship or the cruiser.
Good point.
Also, do you know what your smoke firing penalty is?
It's under 6 kilometers. I think it's like 5.8. I checked in one of the games that I was playing this particular day.
All right. There is a specific reason I ask.
Oh, hello, Hatsuharu. Here's your brown
Yes,
moment.
and suddenly a wild destroyer appears.
Yep. Turning in breaks like this is actually the correct play. So
Absolutely.
Good job.
Torpedo widespread. Okay. I would have... Well, he turned into... See, yeah.
Yeah, I would have waited a little bit. Wait for him to commit to that turn, and then stop. Because he basically did the same thing you did.
Yeah. But you've got sap shells, which hurt him a lot.
And fortunately, you paid the battleships to look away, so he is dead.
They went down the channel. So, yeah.
Hatsuharu doesn't get an option for a torpedo reload booster, does it?
No.
No. That starts
So-
with the Shirasu.
So Hatsuharu's mistake is that he also had a brown alert moment, but he panic dumped all of his torpedoes. Whereas if he had held his torpedoes until he got on your side, like if he just fired the one and then got on your side, you would have been dead there.
Yep.
And as
He's at
SAT
full
said,
health.
go ahead.
Yeah, he was at full health. He can easily just take one sap salvo and then just torpedo broadside.
Yeah, I know I got lucky there.
Now, why did you wait to use your smoke here?
I think part of it was... I can't remember quite exactly. I think maybe I thought that the tiger had shot and I was waiting a little bit because I knew that he couldn't shoot me immediately. So I wanted to keep the smoke for when he couldn't shoot.
Okay. I
Are
mean, because you
planning
did
to
take that
engage
salvo,
Bayer?
so. What were you asking, SAT?
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, it's like, are you going to fight the Bayern, or you're just going to beach behind the island?
I am... So Bayern, does that have 14 or 15-inch guns?
15.
15.
15, so they can overmatch me. Although
Yes.
actually it can't even 14-inch overmatch me at this tier.
Yeah, everything does.
Is M node hunting or reacting to opponents' actions? This game has felt very much like it's mostly reaction, which is fine.
Definitely.
You're in a cruiser, so you know.
Also, I am still a little rusty because I've only played like probably 10 games since I came back after like 2 or 3 months of not playing.
He's tier 5, and he's a tier 5 cruiser in a tier 6 match, so he is on the defensive for most of the game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be thinking of myself as a hunter in this game, unless it's late game and most of the big bad battleships are gone. Vigo,
I
we
am
just
trying
started.
to like keep in mind like the idea that, as I've heard it said, cruisers are more powerful the longer the game goes on. So I'm trying to conserve as much health as I can without being so passive that I'm not impacting the battle at all.
And that applies to pretty much every ship, though. Like, the longer you survive, the more impact you have as other people die.
Right. Now,
But as you
Wolfie,
said, it kind of, you have to balance.
you are correct, Wolfie, in that yes, they can, you know, dance around a little bit. They are relatively maneuverable. But the problem is, and especially with this map, it forces you to be pretty much anywhere from where M node is right now.
I think it would
Yeah.
be better to help against that, again, help the New York there. Second, you don't have smoke. You're kind of in the middle of the map with nowhere to move.
Oh, the New York
I'm gonna
died.
be honest. Yep, I'm gonna be honest. That was a misplay that I will completely own up to. Last I looked at their health, I thought that the New York was going to win that fight handily, so I just kind of looked away and was like, okay, where else can I go? That was a mistake. I should never... Don't assume a ship is dead until its health is 0.
Absolutely,
Yep.
and you should absolutely take 2v1s when it's in your advantage to do so. So you should have absolutely helped kill the New York, the Bayern, and then once the Bayern was dead, I would be smoking here and approaching it, okay, or that. But anyway,
I did see that his guns weren't... I mean, they're turning my way now.
well, sure, but now you're basically hoping that he will die before he fires, which is just a bad position to be in.
Also, the other thing, too, is I was like I was basically 3 kilometers away, so if I fired, I would have been spotted anyway, even if I was in
Right.
smoke.
Which is why you smoke. He's broadside to you. So you smoke, you launch your plane, and you fire your torpedoes. And then if he fires into the smoke, then you shoot back because he's on reload. The destroyer is a good opportunity target. Yeah, the Sirocco's kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
He's in the middle of nowhere, but in order to engage him, you may have to expose yourself to the other battleships, and at that health, it's gonna not end well.
Yep.
And I'm pretty much quite aware of this point, you know, especially given the Fubuki's health and the Sirocco is what it is. In fact, the Fubuki's about to die here. I am pretty much the only thing defending this cap. Well, I am the only thing defending this cap at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah, the only difference is just to be a little bit closer to Sirocco, so you could have gotten a better shot, but nothing you can do to save Fubuki.
No. No, but the
So
other problem
at this
is
point, I know that basically the rest of my game is going to be, my job is to defend the base, hope the other two ships are able to either kill or cap at the other end of the map.
Well, what are you gonna do about Sirocco? You know he outspots you.
faith in
He
your
outspots
teammates.
me, yes. But he doesn't have a smoke screen, so if he opens up, he's going to have to
He's firing
basically
torps at you.
become detected. And yep, I was keeping a specific eye on that. As soon as I saw the indicators change, I'm like, okay, he's torped me, time to move, turn out.
Well, why not just help against West Virginia?
Good point.
I was focused on the Sirocco because I thought, you know, this is my job right now.
You can do so. Sirocco has he used to have time until he gets into the cap. In the meantime, you can help against the West Virginia, against Dunkirk and Fujin.
Or at the very least, like, I would be actually heading up here so that I could put my plane up and spot the West Virginia. I really want to know where the West Virginia is. Because if he shows up right here, you're in trouble. If he shows up right here, you're in trouble.
Yeah. So the idea is, sure, Sirocco will eventually step on the cap, but there's nothing he can do as long as you're sitting in there. It doesn't matter if you're looking at him or not. Meanwhile, that West Virginia is still somewhat of a threat to your battleships. So if you at least start damaging him and maybe kill him, then then you automatically win because two people are taking their cap to your one.
Yep. Also, you should be using not AP, but SAP shells here.
Am I not?
Pretty sure you're on HE right now. Not HE?
No, it doesn't
You get
have
SAP and you get SAP and AP.
Even though it's a light
okay.
cruiser, it
Never
still
mind.
gets AP and SAP.
Yeah,
Or-
I thought it was
yeah, AP
HE and SAP. I thought it was HE and SAP. I got confused. Sorry about that. Never mind.
To be honest, I don't think I fired a single AP shell this entire game.
SAP ammo is red. Yeah, see, my problem is I'm colorblind. So, I have a real tough time seeing yellow and red in this game. 18 SAPs Ferruccio. Got it. Okay. Well, we're going to have ourselves a double death pick here. So that's going to be fun. And
kill the
in
destroyer.
teammates,
That's all you
I
care
trust. Yeah, the key is absolutely that, right? He did kill the destroyer. So that part's important. Can I do a full zoom in here? Maybe? Maybe?
Yeah, Duca d'Aosta has HE and AP instead of the Abruzzi.
Yeah, it's really difficult to remember which has which. It's one thing I really don't like about the line versus premium
remember
ships.
Duca d'Aosta and Abruzzi because they came out, they were the first Italian cruisers to come out before SAP was even introduced. So of course they don't have SAP.
Right. Well, there's a win, so that's exciting. Got an efficiency badge out of that. 3 kills. In third
That's
place.
weird. I don't remember getting an E. I thought I got a 1 out of this battle.
Yeah, that's an efficiency badge.
Oh, it's not saying it's specifically. Okay, it must be a replay thing then.
It's a replay bug since they've added it and will not tell you which specific one that you get because you can't connect to the server to figure it out. Because it's a replay.
Fair. That's fair.
So
Surely
you came
they'll
in.
fix that replay bug because they always fix replay bugs very quickly.
Sure. Hopefully you commented these two because they're the reason why you won.
Yes, I did.
Good.
Plus, Donkey got a Kraken, and I almost always compliment people who get a Kraken.
Yep, fair enough. Welcome back, Wolfie. So, not bad damage-wise. I do agree with SAT though. I think if your shots aren't hitting things, maybe go for just bigger targets and just practice the lead and stuff like that. Like even in that Sirocco fight, you were way off in a lot of your shots, probably due to excitement.
Yeah, I think part of that was he was, I think, speed jukied. part of that, yeah. Though, I also have like 10 battles in this ship because even when I'm regrinding through it, it's tier 5. I get through it in so few battles. I don't really have time to practice in it a lot.
Fair enough. Hey, C. Troy. I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
yeah,
a lot
it's
of
tier
this
5.
was, just not familiar with her guns.
Mm-hmm. The two old, the legacy Italian cruisers have a lot of flow to their guns. Yeah. It's because Wargaming didn't quite know what to do with this cruiser line. They wanted to make it, and that was back at a time when they would put 1 or 2 tester premiums out at different tiers to see how their concept would play out. And they weren't happy with it.
And then one day, someone got the big brain ideas like, why don't we just give them constant smoke at full speed?
Mm-hmm.
About that Hatsuharu, I'm not certain I know any way that I could have known that he was there, because he was last spotted in that channel, and
Nope.
No, there's no way.
Only way is if you had radio location, but even then it would have been pointing at the battleships, you would have thought. So, yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's no way to detect Hatsuharu.
So yeah, he did a good job at the ambush, but either through skill or luck, he just missed the torps.
I don't think he expected you to pop out where you did. I think he was expecting you to be on the other side of the island hiding, and then you just popped up right in front of him. Because remember, you continued to move forward. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he probably also expected you to do the average noob tactic and just turn away, which would he would eat all of his torps.
Yep.
You didn't do.
Yeah. I knew as soon as those torps were launched, I'm like, I turn out, I die, I keep the same course. I probably die. I got to turn in and at least hope that I can hit the gap.
Mm-hmm. So, guys, what are we going to call this replay? Should it make its way to YouTube's? Italian Stallion? Was he a stallion in this game? Seeded initiative. I was thinking defender.
On the behalf of the Hatsuharu, or on behalf of me, I wonder if that's referring to.
For Italian Stallion, I would think that would be for you because you're in the Italian boat.
I was talking about seeded initiative.
That would also be you, because you're mostly reacting instead of, making the plays, which makes sense. Last gasp. Brown trousers might not go down well with YouTube. Could do brown alert though.
Yeah, that I was thinking something along those lines, because when that Hatsuharu came around, I thought I was dead for sure.
Last gasp, says Dr. Ram. Baked Destroyer Surprise, says Wolfie. Code Brown, says Cobra. What do you think, Note? What do you like most?
Code Brown seems nice.
Code Brown it is. Alrighty then. The smell of fear. That works. That works. All right. Well, Note, of course, as always, thanks for the support. And you used your Cover My Replay over on the Rerun channel. I happened to just glance over and see you use it right then and there. And I'm like, okay, got that one. I'll write that one down. So, cool. Hopefully we get you some help.
I've got some more replays that I'm going to submit later on, but this was the first one I wanted to get out.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's go on from there to